Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the next topic of chapter 1 of class 10, that is chemical reactions and equations chapter. The topic is that how can we make the chemical equations more informative? That if we write an equation, so just by reading or studying that equation, how can we make it more informative so that every knowledge about that equation is present in the chemical equation of that reaction is present in the chemical equation. So first of all, the very first way of making a chemical equation informative is that we write the symbols of the physical state of substances in a chemical equation, that whether that substance is solid, liquid, gas, whether it is a solution, right, whatever it is. So we are going to write the symbol of the physical state. Okay, so it makes the equation very informative. If the substance is gaseous, so we don't write the full word gaseous. For that we use the symbol small g inside the bracket, like this, small g inside the bracket. Or there is one more symbol, like gases, they have a tendency to rise up because they are very light. So if we do not want to write small g, we can write, or we can put an upward arrow, which means that they have a tendency to rise up, and we can put this arrow inside a bracket. Then for liquid state, we can use the symbol small l inside the bracket. For solid state, if any reactant or product is in the solid state, we can put up small s inside the bracket. So the small s will tell us that it is a solid reactant or product. Now if, like, we have a solution and the solution is in water, like suppose sugar is dissolved in water, so that is an aqueous solution, right? So for an aqueous solution, if some solid is dissolved in water, so the symbol for that solution will be aqueous, that is AQ. Okay, so this is how we generally write it. And sometimes we also know that whenever a reaction takes place, there is formation of a solid substance which settles at the bottom of the container in which we are doing the reaction. So that solid substance which settles at the bottom of the container is called as a precipitate. And because it always settles at the bottom, so precipitate can be shown by a downward arrow, and that arrow can be put up inside the bracket. Okay, then apart from this physical state, we can also write the conditions, like what is the temperature, what is the pressure, do we need sunlight for it, right, whether we need high pressure, low pressure. So all these things are called as the conditions. So conditions can also be written, the pressure, temperature, sunlight requirement also can be written, and they are generally written either above the arrow or below the arrow. We all know on the left hand side of the arrow we write the reactant, on the right hand side we write the product. So these conditions of temperature, pressure, or maybe sunlight, whether it is needed or not, or any other condition which is needed for that reaction to take place, maybe any type of enzyme is needed, okay, maybe any type of special metal is needed for the reaction to occur. So all these conditions can be written either above or below the chemical equation. Thus, by writing the symbols of the physical state of substances, that is solid, liquid, gas, aqueous, or precipitate, okay, or the conditions like temperature, pressure, sunlight, enzyme, specific metal, under which a reaction takes place, a chemical equation can be made more informative. For example, I'll just discuss few examples with you. Like we all know that calcium carbonate, okay, so when it is heated, now heat is a condition for this reaction to take place. Heat can be written either as proper heat in words, or if we do not want to write it, we can just put up a triangle. So this triangle is actually a symbol for the heat, right? So this will break and it will form calcium oxide, okay, it will form calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Now one more thing is missing over here. We can make it even more informative by writing that calcium carbonate is solid, calcium oxide will be solid, but carbon dioxide is gaseous in nature. So now this equation has become so informative. Okay, now suppose we talk about one more reaction, like barium chloride, right? So I will write AQ in the bracket. So what is this AQ means? That actually barium chloride was a solid, but now it has been dissolved in water. So this is now aqueous solution. It is mixed with H2SO4. Okay, now it is sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is aqueous, and because it is dissolved in water, its concentration is now less. And whenever the concentration or the acid is weak, we write dilute, and the dilute can be written as DIL. It will result in the formation of BaSO4, that is barium sulfate, which is a precipitate. And further, to make it even more informative, we can just write the color of the precipitate, that it is white in color, along with the formation of 2HCl, and it is hydrochloric acid, which is again in the aqueous state. So this is how we can make the equation so informative, right? Then if we talk about the reaction or equation for photosynthesis, we all know carbon dioxide in gaseous form, and it will combine with water, which is in liquid form, and in the presence of sunlight. So since we are writing it above the arrow, it is a condition, and in the presence of chlorophyll, we are writing it below the arrow, it is again a condition, will result in the formation of C6H12O6, which is glucose. And this glucose, and along with the formation of oxygen gas, right, 6 of this, and this glucose will be mixed with water. So I guess this will be aqueous in nature, right? So this is how we can make the equation so informative, just by putting up the physical states, whether that is solid, liquid or gas, or aqueous solution or a PPT, precipitate, and by mentioning the conditions, that is temperature, pressure or any other condition that is needed, either above the arrow or below the arrow. So I hope that you've all understood how can we make the chemical equation so informative. Thank you everybody.